You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Packernet After Dark podcast. That's what this one is. This is the call-in show of the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We don't have any new callers, but we got TJ. What's going on? Play the call, please. Thank you.
Ryan, TJ from Alabama.
What's up?
You were talking about, you talked quite a bit about irrational fans and stuff like that because, that's a pretty fruitful tree to pick off of pretty much at any time of the year. But, you were talking, about what fans would do and stuff like that. And I was thinking, it's like, in my head, there is a perfect proof of concept of how a team would do if everything was done like the fans would do, or irrational, negative fans, whatever the case may be. So I'm thinking all the teams, and I think the New York Jets is the perfect example of what a team would look like if the irrational fans were running the show. I mean, back in 2022, you picked Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, 3 first-round picks, 2 in the top 10. I mean, that's awesome. Of course, then you trade Sauce Gardner for more draft picks. 2021, you get number 2, you get your quarterback, Zach Wilson. You get a good offensive lineman, Elijah Barrett-Tucker. 2023, Will McDonald. You trade. You give up you don't give up the farm, but you trade a lot for Aaron frickin' Rodgers. You fire your head coach when they don't succeed every other year. The Jets are a perfect example of exactly what the team would look like if the fans were in charge. So if you want to root for the New York Jets, then that is the model of fans doing everything. I mean, there's other teams, but I think the Jets are a perfect example of what it would look like if just the fans got their way all the time. That's it. All right, go Pack, go. Thanks, Ryan.
Well, you're right, and I've pointed to that several times, that there's teams that act like these fans won, and they're always the teams that are the worst. And there's a reason for this. It's not just random or coincidental, and it's not just because, bad teams do what, or fans, because they're not smart, do what not smart teams do, or what. It's nothing like that. It's very simple. It's because bad teams have bad owners. And bad owners are essentially really irrational fans that have a lot of money and a lot of power, and they act like fans. That's not acceptable. You need to be fired. They have no patience. They're not willing to wait. And their favorite phrase is, that's not acceptable. And they love firing people. That's not good enough, so we fire people. That's not good enough, so we fire people. They don't have process. They have expectations. And when you don't meet their expectations, they get fired. And that sounds great. And by the way, this is exactly why these sort of negative, irrational fans always want us to have an owner. Because they want that person who's as irrational as they are to come in and overrule all the football people with all the football knowledge and these tried and true processes, and overrule that. Screw your process. Screw your NFL knowledge. I want that. I want you to go get that big thing over there. I want you to go out in free agency and be aggressive. I want to win today. I want this. I want to draft that guy. I'm going to overrule you in the draft room and say, no, we need to go get that guy. Well, that didn't work, so now you're fired halfway through the season. We're going to bring somebody else in. That didn't work. Okay, well, we're going to fire this guy because I guess I was wrong, and maybe it's this. They are one and the same. Irrational fans are just irrational owners without a lot of money. And that's why the irrational fans want an owner, because they think exactly the same. And any team you look at that has those kind of overbearing owners, they are the worst teams in football, Nobody wants to be there. The GMs and the coaches and the players hate it there. They never have success. Name the team that won a Super Bowl most recently with an overbearing owner. And you know they're overbearing because you know who they are. Who owns the Chiefs? You know who owns the Patriots. That's true, but how much influence did he have telling Bill Belichick what to do? Is the answer basically nothing? How about the Eagles? Does the Eagles owner typically overrule their GM and their coach in decisions? Never. Ever. The places you heard that were in Washington, the Jets. Probably the best example is Dallas. And by best, I mean, they do really stupid stuff, but occasionally get to the playoffs. David Tepper in Carolina. Guy loves firing people. That's his favorite thing. If you want everybody fired, David Tepper is your guy. We should go ask for David Tepper to own our team because he'll just fire everybody immediately. He, by the way, was the one that pushed, apparently, for Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud. So he overruled his own staff and said, I don't want C.J. Stroud, I want Bryce Young. Jim Irsay, who, not trying to speak ill or anything, but very well known for running stuff. The guy that hired Jeff Saturday from the ESPN analyst desk to come be the coach of the team that didn't work very well. His dad, Robert Irsay, apparently called plays from the box during the game via his headset. Is that what you want? These people are unhinged. Okay, this football team is a toy to them, and they don't treat things well, and they don't run things well, and their teams don't go very well. All right? So they're wrong, and it should be a way for you or to some degree all of us, because we all have this a little bit, it should be a reminder that whenever we get that feeling of, that pissed me off, now I want you fired, that pissed me off, now I want you cut, you're acting like an Irsay. You're acting like David Tepper. You're acting like Woody Johnson, who, by the way, this hilarious Madden rating thing, which I haven't recorded tomorrow's podcast yet, so I gotta get there, but hopefully we'll have time to talk about that. That's hilarious. Apparently, he brings his sons, Brick and Jack, into high-level personnel meetings. Like, the team executives apparently complain that they're answering to teenagers. Yeah, we need an owner, everybody. We need an owner, bro. You have no idea what you're talking about. Jimmy Haslam, Cleveland Browns. Apparently, during the most recent coaching search for 2025-26, he made coaching candidates write written essays and do massive homework assignments before they could even get a second interview. That apparently is a big part of the reason why people were withdrawing from the Cleveland job. This is the guy also that brought in Deshaun Watson for $230 million, fully guaranteed, probably the worst trade of all time. Arizona, horrific organization. Everybody knows it. Why? Top down, Michael Bidwell. He apparently is a massive micromanager, accused of tracking employees' movements and creating a toxic, high-pressure environment. Former executives filed grievances alleging he forced them to use burner phones to communicate with the suspended GM. So, yeah, these are one and the same. Irrational fans and owners that like to meddle. Not good. This is why the best teams have owners that understand that you're the owner. Sit in your nice little booth, count your money, and shut your mouth. Okay? That's your job.
Hi, Ryan. It's Randy in Minnesota.
What's up?
Boy, the juicy drama is really coming on strong already. Right after the Super Bowl. So many things I was thinking about. Let's start with the international games. I too am no, I don't think this is a great idea. But I read where the players are really getting screwed over because they have to pay taxes in the country that they're playing in, and some of these taxes
good old
in
Europe.
these foreign countries are just exorbitant. I think the NFL should have to reimburse the players for what they're being forced to pay in taxes in a country that they are not living in. I don't see why. I'm not here banging the table for millionaires, but I think it's a way for the NFL to basically not roll over on everybody. I think they should see how much money goes in each community for a game, and they should have to put a percentage of cash into that city's coffers to make up for the loss of a game day.
Sure.
I think it's silly that Green Bay might lose a game day. And I know it brings a lot of money into the surrounding towns.
Yep.
Now I also just read that Iowa is looking at trying to get the Bears.
Yep.
It's like everybody wants this team but Chicago. And they're really trying hard. They're going to put together a package to try it, kind of like Indiana.
Yep.
I thought that was really, really interesting. The last thing I want to talk about was the amount of pure garbage is coming out of Chicago websites. So Getsy's now our quarterback coach. Well, apparently, just because Getsy was the quarterback or was the OC,
yeah.
When Justin Fields got there and Justin Fields sucked, now Jordan's going to suck because obviously they both have the same skill level.
Right. Also, it's not like Jordan has had him as a backup, as a quarterback coach before, or Aaron Rodgers when he won MVP or anything like that. No, rather than looking at a direct situation, rather than just saying directly, let's look at how Jordan performed when Getsy was his quarterback coach. No. Instead, let's look at how Justin Fields performed, because that makes freaking sense, because Justin Fields was always bullcrap. And by the way, he wasn't even the guy's quarterback coach. He was the offensive coordinator, which is a different job. But yeah, that's probably how thinking works.
Jordan and Justin,
Stupid
and it was Getsy
people.
Couldn't bring it out of Justin, so now he's going to cause Jordan to suck, and that the Bears are going to obviously win the North for the next 50 years.
Right. Yeah, that's what happens.
Well, the Lions fans websites aren't too far behind this either, and then Minnesota, they just realized we're screwed. They're not talking a lot about anything. But anyway, that's all I got. Go Pack, go. Bye.
Yeah, I love it because I need it, and you guys probably need it. Just the absolute frickin' rage I have toward the Bears and these ridiculous Bears fans and writers and everything else. They're so frickin' stupid. Every offseason, they're the greatest team in the world, and now that they actually performed well, I can't even imagine how frickin' insufferable they're about to be. But, yeah, it should be interesting. I haven't seen a ton. I've seen a little bit of them popping off at the mouth. But, I'm ready. I'm ready to start frickin' swinging at these absolute idiots. Like, oh, you got Getsy, dude. He was here, and bro, he was here too. We already had him here. Okay, he was already here, and he had this job. And look at what happened. Were we awful? No. Then shut up. Just because he fails with you, because everybody fails with you, doesn't mean anything. He succeeded with us. We did fine with him. So what's the problem? Exactly. You're so freaking absolutely stupid. All right, let's take our first break. We'll come back with Beer Cheese Benny.
Hey, Ryan, Beer Cheese Benny.
Yo.
Listen to Packernet After Dark, geez. And Nico from Idaho is calling in, talking about, like, people complaining about, like, this and that draft pick. And you know what, dude? I'll be honest, man. I used to be kind of like that. But now I just see it all the time. Like especially with the Super Bowl. Like, oh, we could have had Christian Gonzalez. We could have had JSN. Like, bro, like you said, you can say that about literally every team. I could look at any team.
Right.
Even the freaking Patriots, I can look at them. Oh, why did they draft this guy? They could have had this guy. It's so stupid. And that's
most picks are misses. And with every miss, if you look within 5 picks in either direction, you're going to find a hit. Oh, look at that. bro, shut up. We're not having a serious conversation. Now, if you want to talk about something else, like hit rate or, some kind of a serious discussion, but the absolute stupidity of saying, look at this bad pick, and then 1 or 2 or 3 picks later was a good pick. Therefore, you freaking idiot. I get the frustration. I get that. But let's not get stupid.
When I watch the draft, if the Packers pick a guy, sure, I might be like, really?
Yeah,
No, there's
100%.
some instances where, you can look, yes, you can look at every team and say that they've done that, but there's some instances where the Packers have done stuff where you're like, really? You passed up on this guy? And then, literally he's picked, and you're like, well, there it is. And then it turns out that you were right. But, that's going to happen.
Yep.
But,
and that's the other frustrating thing about it. And again, we all do this to some degree. So I'm trying to take some. I'm trying not to make it all like us versus them. We're so smart and they're so stupid, which is literally what they do to the team. But the problem is, so many people they only focus on their wins. They're wrong about everything. If you look at do you know how many people I could go through and talk about how many calls I got on this show, how many people on Twitter, how many people on Facebook said, we need to draft this person. This is the one. If he doesn't do it, blah, 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 blah. Hundreds of prospects over the nearly decade I've been doing this that Packer fans have been screaming for that sucked. Do you know how many times they've been held accountable for that? 0. 0 times. 0. But God forbid, if a fan says draft this guy and we don't, and the guy that they said to draft was good, it's the end of the world. It's so freaking unbelievable. There was a quote I heard once that I thought was really clever. I just asked AI about it, and it sounds like it was ripped off from a 1966 column from Newsweek. I want to see if I can find the other one, but it doesn't really matter. The 1966 column from Newsweek, Samuelson, who is Samuelson? I don't know. Paul Samuelson, Nobel Prize winning economist, said the stock market has predicted 9 out of the last 5 recessions. I thought that was so clever because it's so free. I don't think it was stock market. I think the other person that said it was either like conspiracy theorists or libertarians or something like that. Because they're always talking about, the stock market's going to crash because we keep doing this, that, or the other thing. Anyways, the point is that is NFL draft fans. They predict recession, and they're wrong all the time. They just keep saying a recession is coming, the stock market's going to crash. The recession is coming, the stock market's going to crash. A recession is coming, the stock market's going to crash. And they're never, ever, ever right. And then when it happens, they say, see, I told you. That's NFL draft fans. That's Packer fans. And they're so freaking obnoxious. Draft this guy, he sucks. Oh, never mind. Draft this guy, he sucks. Oh, never mind. Draft this guy, he sucks. Oh, never mind. Draft this guy, he's good. See, everybody knew that guy was going to be good, and you didn't draft him. You're an idiot. You're stupid, and you don't know anything. You know nothing, and you're wrong all the time. All the time. It's painful how much you're wrong, and you take 0 accountability of that. And one time you're right, you have the freaking audacity to stand up here and pretend that you had some kind of a knowledge that is superior to this team because you were right for once and they were wrong. Have you no shame? Good Lord.
It's kind of like just conceded to the fact that whoever the Packers draft, I'm just going to back them. I'm like, all right, well, I don't agree with that pick, but let's see. Let's just see. Because, you got to wait at least 2 or 3 years to see, for the most part. Sometimes you get a hit right away, but I think as Packers fans, we just freak out about that all the time.
Well, and that's the other thing. People take credit for stuff all the time. Oh, look, he's a bust. And then they end up playing well. And again, there's no coming back. There's no, oh, you know what? I got that wrong. I apologize. Nope. Just like it never happened. We just don't talk about that anymore. Rashawn Gary was a terrible pick. And then he started playing really, really well. Everyone got quiet. Everybody went away. Everybody hid. Everybody ran and hid. And then he has an ACL injury and starts playing poorly. It was a terrible pick. That was never a good pick. Everybody knew that was a terrible pick. He's been a terrible player this whole time. He's never been good. This is stupid. That was a terrible pick. Jordan Love. Oh, Jordan Love got hate for like 4 straight years. Then he starts playing well, just crickets. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? Where are the public apologies for 4 years of being an insufferable, absolute jagoff? For being an insufferable piece of garbage. Where's my apology for having to listen to you? I want a written apology from every one of you freaking idiots who wanted to run your mouth this entire time about fire Gutekunst for drafting another quarterback and for the absolute horrible thing that you've done to Mr. Aaron Rodgers. How could you? How dare you? And now look, what happened? Where'd everybody go? You know what they're doing? They're hibernating, and they're waiting. They're waiting for Jordan Love's career to downturn. They're waiting for him to have a bad week, a bad year, a bad anything. If he has another injury, oh, see, he's injury prone. That was terrible. But now they're quiet, right? They're quiet. Where'd they go? They're waiting. They're just waiting. So that they want to come out and trash everything. And then when they're wrong, they just go quiet. It's such a nice life to be a negative fan. I get to reap all the rewards of the positive thing. Every good pick, I just get to celebrate. Yay, I love this guy. That was a great pick. I always loved that pick. That was such a good pick. And every bad pick, you're an idiot. You're stupid. Man, it must be nice to be frickin' perfect in everything you do, isn't it? You just walk around the world thinking you're just perfect at everything. You've never been wrong about anything, and everybody that's wrong is beneath you. And they should be ashamed of themselves and fired. Unlike you, who's never done anything wrong, you've never said anything wrong. You've been right about every prospect since forever, and yeah, everybody else should be fired, and you should you should be the GM. You've never been wrong about anything. Freaking insufferable people, I swear.
It's gotten so annoying to me that I don't interact with it. It's just like, there's one, it doesn't bother. They're like, well, no, because you should have done it. It's like, okay, that's easy for you to say. So, I mean...
Right, the bottom line is, I don't care what you say after the draft. I care what you say before the draft. If you're ever going to come to me and say, this was a stupid... I want to see all the mock drafts you did. Not go find me the one where you had us taking that player because you've done 500 mock drafts. No, I want to see every single one of them. And I'm going to rip you to shreds for how stupid you are. Look at this. You picked this guy. He fell to the 3rd round. And he's terrible. Did you see his medicals? What are you, stupid? Are you an idiot? Are you trying to sabotage this team? You drafted that guy? He didn't even get picked until the mid-3rd. And he shouldn't have even been picked then. People are mocking the frickin' Browns or whatever for drafting him in the 3rd round. And you took him in the 1st? Are you brain dead? Are you an idiot? That's what I want. I want to see every one of your mock drafts. And then I'm going to publicly shame you for years. Years. I'm just going to keep bringing up everything that comes up. Anytime somebody posts something positive, I'm going to call them a bootlicker. And I want to say, yeah, why don't you talk about this? Why don't you talk about this pick? Oh, interesting. You only want to be positive. What about this? What about the time he drafted this guy in the 1st? You don't want to talk about that, do you? Do you? I'm going to do that for years and years until you get fired.
I don't even bother engaging with those people because they're just like so caught up in it. They're just so obsessed with it. So, and like Nico was saying, doing these mock drafts, it's like you find a lot of people, you draft people, and like, normally what I do is I do my mock drafts and then I go look at their tape. Like let's see what I got. That's actually a fun way to do it. And I ended up falling in love with a lot of guys, like he said, and it's just like, crap, dude, and then we don't get any of them, and we're like kind of disappointed. But, when the Packers do draft one of those guys that you had in one of your mock drafts,
yeah.
Oh, dude, there's no other feeling like it, man. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when we got Edgerrin Cooper, that was a guy that, like, I didn't think that we would be able to get, if I'm being honest. I didn't think we would ever be able to get him. And then, like, when it comes to draft night, you're just like, all right, I hope they pick this guy, or this guy. And then when they pick one of those 3 guys that you're saying, it's freaking awesome, dude. But yeah, I'm ready for it, dude. Let's freaking go, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I haven't really done a ton of mocks. Been obviously busy with a bunch of other stuff, but I'm doing the mock draft Monday thing, and I'm doing the Packers one probably every Monday, and we'll be doing the the NFL draft one as well. So we'll be forcing myself to do some mocks, which is good. I need that. But by the way, if you haven't, you should tune into the NFL draft, the show that we're doing over there. It isn't just Packers related, but it basically is right now because we're just going position by position. Today, I guess, the 13th, just did corners. Saturday will be safeties, and then Sunday we're going to do specialists, so we'll be looking at return guys as well as if there's any kicker, punter, or whatever. But I'm guessing what's more interesting to a lot of listeners would be return guys, punt return, kick return. So we'll go through some of those. All of this is going to be on my my big board. So I just updated AI that puts together my descriptions for the shows and whatnot. So it should be automatically putting some links in there. So if you're interested in subscribing to that, if you are a subscriber on Patreon, I am going to work on, I got to figure out how to do that with the payment system and whatnot, but work on getting discount codes so you can get that for free on Patreon, so you can go check that out. Anywho, yeah, let's keep a rocking here. Garrett, what's up?
Hey, Tag Daddy, it's Garrett from Southern Illinois.
Yo.
Wanted to just elaborate a little bit more on what you have been covering when it comes to the topic on Gutey. And this year you've already kind of touched on the fact that, there's speculation that this free agency isn't going to be that good, and the draft prospects are not going to possibly be that good, and that it possibly will boost big trades for this upcoming season. And with Gutey, you already explained in one of your podcasts just recently, he's made some pretty substantial trades. I mean, the trade with Aaron Rodgers, a Hall of Famer, a top-tier Hall of Famer, Micah Parsons, who we all pretty much would agree that he's probably going to be a top-tier type Hall of Famer. How many GMs can say that they have done that in their career and taken what was from those trades and used that to propel the team? And I just wonder, Ryan, I want to pose this question of, this next season with the draft, not having a first round pick, free agency not looking great, and having to try to decide who they're going to re-sign. I'm just wondering, is Gutey have another ace up the sleeve? Because last year we would never, ever
Sure.
thought that he would pull the trigger on Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
And yet he did. So what could he possibly do this year? We will have to wait and see. But we just don't know. But anything's possible. So are you thinking in the draft and in free agency this year, is he more of a gambler or is he more of an investor when it comes to this team? And he's already, the Micah Parsons trade was an all-in move. What possibly could he still do with what he's got now to even add to that?
Yeah, and I mean, he has always been, since day one, let's go get it. And I know people want to argue that. They're like, no, he's playing it safe. No, he is absolutely not. He's been probably over-aggressive, if anything. Overly aggressive. So, and then the Micah Parsons thing just really is the cherry on top in terms of, is he, are we going to try to pare it down? Are we going to try to rebuild it? There's no rebuilding. We are 1 billion% all in. All the way in. There are obviously constraints, but they're going to do everything they can to circumvent the constraints to do exactly what he feels. I mean, if there is anything we're missing in his eyes, he will do everything he can to overcome that. Again, the limitations are not just the salary cap and the amount of draft picks we have available to trade if we wanted to, which I would doubt he'd want to go that path, but who knows. But the limitations as far as who's even available. But still, there's no reason to believe that he's going to dial back the aggressiveness. If anything, Micah Parsons ups the urgency. That dude, whether he's capable or not, is a separate issue. That guy, if you're saying he doesn't want it bad enough or whatever, or I saw somebody say that the issue with the team is a lack of urgency. I hope you're not talking about Gutey, because that dude has had his foot frickin' blast. I mean, that gas pedal is about to go through the floor. I mean, I don't know how much more aggressive he could possibly be at any given point. I mean, again, over-aggression, the way he's been aggressive with the as soon as he got here, just getting wild in free agency. The contract he gave Aaron Rodgers was borderline reckless. I mean, are you willing to, let him go? It's probably the responsible thing to do, to let him go, for sure. He didn't want to. He's got an MVP quarterback. So he overpaid the guy because it's like, screw it, let's go get a Super Bowl. Let's do this while we have Rodgers. Well, Rodgers took a step back and the contract sucked and whatever. But we got Jordan. He starts playing well, right back at it. We go out and get Xavier McKinney, which is one of the biggest gets, along with Josh Jacobs, two of the biggest guys in that entire cycle on our team. Young, top of the, number one safety at 24 years old, and a 25-year-old running back who had been a top 3 running back for a long time. And both of them end up on our team. And then Micah Parsons is available. And where does he go? Green Bay. We have been unbelievably aggressive in the pursuit of a Super Bowl. Shockingly aggressive. And I'm not even just talking about for the Packers, who are generally not, no, I'm just saying in general. It's crazy. And now everybody wants they haven't done that many things. I'm not talking about quantity as much as quality. I don't want 7 freaking bums. Give me Micah Parsons over, we made 7 moves in free agency. In a garbage free agency year, you went out and got a bunch of free agents. Great. Well done. What a freaking waste. I don't want that. I want substance. And that's what he's been going after. So as far as what that could be, I don't know right now. Haven't really got to that point yet. But these are the things that'll start to unravel over time. Because it's not just about going through and reading the list of free agents. We got to figure out who's potentially getting cut, to look at who might be available for the Packers. We need to look at trade candidates. Again, we're not super able to do much. One thing I would keep in mind, though, the way in which you could end up with a high-end guy in a trade would be, something like we talked about with Elton Jenkins or Rashawn Gary, or even like Aaron Rodgers. Even though Rodgers was whatever, but the reason the value was nowhere near as high as the talent is the contract. And so if you find a guy that's got a contract that somebody's trying to get out of, and it's a hefty contract, you can bring them over. And essentially the cost is the contract, and you throw a couple penny, it costs like a 6th round pick or something for this guy, even though he's way more talented than that, because the contract is too big. That would be the way in which that could happen. So there's a lot that can go on. And, I think we learned after last year with the Micah Parsons thing, don't ever count the Packers out as far as these discussions. I had basically ruled it out as that's never going to happen. And on vacation, start getting phone calls. I'm getting calls and texts from people that just I haven't heard from in a very long time. And I'm like, dude, something big just happened. Like when I saw Bax sent me a text like, no way, or something like that. I was like, what is going on here? Freaking knew it was Micah, man. Anywho, why don't we take a break? We'll come back. We got Garrett part 2.
here's another topic of discussion to ponder, and I don't think anybody's brought it up yet, Ryan, but with Sullivan going to Miami Dolphins and Halfley becoming their new head coach, it made me wonder, you've got a guy who knew all the inside war room details of what Gutey thinks, how he does it, and I'm sure he's probably going to try to replicate that process, but at the same time, he also kind of knows a little bit leading into what is going to be happening with this 2026 draft. And you have to wonder just how far did they get into it that he knows as far as, who's going to be on top of their board and stuff. And I wanted to bring up that Miami, apparently their biggest needs, when you Google it, search it, it turns out it's the trenches, offensive and defensive tackle, cornerback, tight end. Now, in my opinion, again, I would say Green Bay's biggest needs, defensive line, probably offensive line depth, if not maybe a piece that be interchanged with somebody, and cornerback, which I think we could use some depth or a replacement piece for somebody if they got a high enough pick, and tight end, because we got 2 tight ends at the end of the season with pretty significant injuries. So I think there possibly could be a depth piece there too. So you could say that these 2 teams have some similar needs. And it's like, I didn't look it up, Brian. I was curious as where Miami's picking versus what Green Bay's picking. I know Miami's going to have a first round pick and Green Bay doesn't, but in the process of things, how many players could they possibly snipe ahead of Green Bay's picks that could be similar? Because you have to think that, Sullivan is his own person, but the Gutey mentored him, there's got to be some like-minded decision-making. So I just wonder how that might cross over and affect, in a ripple effect, to what Green Bay does.
Well, I would say probably relatively minimal. The only reason is I don't think they've really gotten to the point of starting to assemble. I think Gutekunst even kind of alluded to that, like his scouts are much more aware of certain prospects than he is. He hasn't really gotten quite that far yet on all that stuff. Hasn't really been up to speed on everything quite as much. They certainly haven't really assembled their boards yet. They have not gotten, that's going to be a while before they get to that point and start putting it together. The other thing is the fact that they don't even have a first round pick. The odds that even the second round is going to be assembled similarly beyond the third or fourth. It's possible that they could have a hunch, like a strong hunch, based on, I know this this scout has a great reputation, and that scout really liked this guy, so there's a chance. But there's additional issues. First of all, they do that with all 31 teams. They have an idea of they try to get details and data on GMs and whatnot, and who they think they're going to like and why. And that does go both ways. The Packers are going to have an idea probably in the other direction as well as Schneider and a bunch of other guys. Even though they've been distant for a while, you kind of get an idea of what whether it's because they use the same process or just because I've watched him as a GM for the last decade. The other thing is, they do have 2 different teams, and even though the positions might be the same, you don't have the same schemes, the same teams, the same priorities. Even if you're looking for a corner, a Halfley corner might be different than what we're looking for, or, defensive tackle or tight end or whatever. So, it's not impossible. Like, I'm just peeking at it here. For example, in the 3rd round, we have a pick at 84. Miami picks 3 times, once ahead of us at 75, which is kind of way in front of us. And then we're at 84, and we're ahead of both of their picks. Now, that could be a benefit, but also if they have 2 picks there, they could easily jump us. to get up in front of us to do something. So, I mean, if you see that, it's going to be annoying because, like, you bastard. You freaking bastard. But, you know, what are you going to do? Again, they may be doing that stupidly, thinking that they know something when they don't. And Green Bay ends up getting the guy they wanted all along. But I get what you're saying for sure. You do worry about, like, what intel do they have, but I genuinely don't think it's going to be that much, especially when you start talking about second round, because, again, they haven't even started putting the boards together and having those kinds of meetings and determining how to organize and all that kind of stuff. So they got two different staffs with two different scouting staffs with all different opinions, and I do think at the end of the day, a lot of teams' boards end up looking identical. So it is an interesting thought, and it's something to keep an eye on as we move forward. But I also don't think it's going to be like devastating to the point where it's like they can basically see our board and snipe all our players, kind of a thing. By the way, if they did want to snipe our third round pick, I would be in favor of that. If you can jump out in front of us and grab the pick that Gutey was about to make and force us to pick literally anybody else, maybe that's the way that this works. Maybe that's how we make it okay. I don't know. That's just a thought. Drew, what's up?
Hey Ryan, it's Drew from Green Bay, and
Howdy.
I just wanted to talk about roster building a little bit. And like, I'm hearing from a lot of other Packer fans that like they think we're going to be cutting so many players. And while I think there are opportunities to cut some players, I'd be surprised if we cut as many as they think. Like, I've literally heard people say they want to cut Sean Ryan, Owen Jenkins, Aaron Banks, and Rasheed Walker, and it's like, you're going to cut 4 of our starting all-line from last year? Probably not, you know? Then they want to cut Rashawn Gary. They want to cut our field goal kicker. They want to cut, like, you can't cut everybody.
And that's the point I've made in the past as well. You know, I mean, it's basically, I think for some people, it's if I don't think you're up to snuff, then I want you cut. Okay, but the problem is, we need a team to field. You know what I mean? And if your plan is just go out in free agency and replace them with better players, good luck. First of all, you can't afford that because they're presumably going to be more expensive players. So, I mean, that's not really an option. Beyond that, the draft, I mean, you only have like 7-8 picks, most of which are in the day 3. We have 3 7th-round picks and no first-round picks. So it's definitely weighted toward the back of the draft. The odds of replacing even 2 starters, much less 3, 4, 5, 6, very low. And it's not because he's a bad GM. That's just how it works. You would be silly. So you know, you need to have a plan. Like with Rashawn Gary, I get it. Again, the contract makes it difficult. Maybe they can work something out, but it's tough to find a path that makes sense. And we have replacements. We have guys. I mean, we'll see if we bring back Kingsley, but that would be part of that equation. We have Micah. We have, 2 draft picks from last year. We have Lucas Van Ness. Those are our 2 starters. And then Kingsley would be kind of our 3. And, we'll be okay. Plus, potentially some other draft picks on top of that. We'll see. But, yeah, you do have to worry a little bit, especially when it's like an entire offensive line. Like Rasheed's got to go, although we have an instant replacement. We already have a left tackle there. But Rasheed's got to go. Elton's got to go. Banks has got to go. Sean Ryan's got to go. I mean, just from a depth standpoint, it's like getting a little scary, which is why I think even I had Sean Ryan coming back, not because I like him as a player, but, assuming we get him for dirt cheap, we at least need him as a backup. And worst case scenario, we can't find someone to replace him, so he ends up being a starter. But, I'm not saying we give him a $20 million contract. Sometimes you pay low prices for guys that are not very good. That's just the way it goes.
And, what I think we'll do with McMoney is a lot of his misses were based on injury. Outside of that, he still had a couple misses, but I don't think it was a horrible year. And I think that we did what we did with Mason, and we just give him it
took me entirely too long to figure out who McMoney was. What are we talking about?
Contract. We restructured his contract so he could basically earn back everything that he would miss out on, but you just make it incentive based. So if he has another bad year, then he loses a bunch of money. And every time we did that with Mason Crosby, he would come back and he would just have a great year. So I'm not willing to give up on him yet, and with Aaron Banks, I'm not sure that he had the injury. We'll see what happens. I wouldn't be shocked if we cut him, but and I don't think we're getting rid of Josh Jacobs. I don't, and if we do cut, I don't think we're getting rid of Elton Jenkins. If we do cut, I think we can only cut like one or two offensive linemen, and so is that really going to be Rasheed Walker? Like, what also? Even though I'm not like...
Well, the issue with Rasheed is he's not going to be a starter, and he's going to get paid to be a starter. He's going to be worth... I mean, it's basically the same situation on a slightly smaller scale to what we have right now with Malik Willis. Somebody's going to pay him at least low-end starter money. We can't pay that for him to be a backup. And we're not going to have Jordan Morgan sit on the bench anymore. He's going to be presumed as the left starter. And we're not going to pay Rasheed Walker starting left tackle money and then immediately bench him and try to put our first-round pick in there to replace him. So that's where Rasheed just is not going to make sense anymore.
A huge fan of Rasheed. Like, when's the last time the Packers cut a competent left tackle? It just, we haven't, or let him walk. We haven't really seen that too much. So, I mean, maybe, I guess, but if Rasheed Walker goes, then we probably keep Banks, right? And how many times do we sign all these free agents and then cut them the following year, like Aaron Banks after just 1 year? I don't think that happens very often either. So we might give him another year to see if he can play better. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyways, have a good day. Bye.
Yeah, I think Banks will probably come back, but it's just the contract that I don't understand. I just don't get it. I don't know how that's going to work. It's such a big contract. We can't pay. I mean, it's like $24 million this year. No, never. I'm not paying that for him. Well, what are we going to do? Give him an extension? No, I'm not giving him an extension. Are we going to kick more money down the road? I mean, that means we cut him a check, first of all, and then it means he's locked in for more years. It just gives him more guarantees up front. So he'll be here this year for sure and next year probably, and then he's going to be expensive in 3 years to get rid of him, or in another 2 years. Well, that freaking sucks. I mean, the best option is to cut him, but I don't think they're going to, which, kind of annoys me a little bit because I think that they should. But, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? All right, let's do Nico, and then we'll get out of here.
Hey, this is Nico. So I'm listening to Omar complain about Jordan Love not getting respect, and I've seen it. I did see one thing where Caleb was tense, and everyone from, everyone above that was decent, was good, but Love wasn't even in the top 10, and Caleb was, and whatever. I did see another post, and I may get in trouble for saying this, but someone said, is Caleb Williams the best quarterback the Bears have ever had? Right? And of course I went right to the comments. A lot of the comments were similar to mine, but I just said, that's like being the smartest retard. So that's what I said. I'm sure I pissed a lot of people off. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. But, yeah, it stems from that whole, we've had, elite quarterbacks for 30 years, and people are kind of forgetting about Favre, but that's kind of what happens. And they just don't want us to have another good one. And I guess they're forgetting after Love's first year starting. I'm sure you remember, Ryan. Even Bears, sports writers are like, are you freaking kidding me? They got another one? And yeah. Now we lost in the playoffs a couple times. So that now they're like, well, he sucks. Well, no. The fact that he's going, he's gonna hit Pater one of these days. So it is what it is. I expect Bears fans to be stupid and delusional, so I don't get mad when they are that way. It's just, you know, like you just said, I guess you just rate quarterbacks on the highlights. Way to go, Dodo.
Nice.
Anyways, I'm driving home now. Have a nice productive evening. And go Pack go. I'm going to finish off listening to Omar's rant.
Yeah, I'm just going to absolve myself by saying you were breaking up and I couldn't understand what you said. Smartest something. I didn't catch that. No, the conversation is dumb and it's just going to get dumber. That's just the way it goes. Again, it's annoying. It's very annoying, but it's also awesome because it's just fantastic content. And sometimes I just need the rage, you know? Just need it. And it fuels me. I don't like it. It's toxic, but that's the thing. I got to get it out. They poison me, and then I have to release the toxins into my microphone. So that's how that's going to go. I don't know when we're going to be doing that, but again, if you see it, go ahead and send it to me. I'll stash it to the side. We got other stuff to do, you know. But I think I'm going to get rocking on that. It's getting late, and I haven't even done the normal podcast yet. So that is what I'm about to do. I appreciate all the calls. You guys are awesome. I'm going to go get some coffee, wake up a little bit. Please get your calls in. We have 6 calls remaining. That will not be enough for tomorrow, and I'm trying to keep it rocking and rolling with 3 a day. I always say if you want to give me a day off, go ahead, but I'd rather you didn't. You know, we gotta keep this thing rocking and rolling here. So if you wouldn't mind, get them in. I don't really care what it's about. I did ask about your favorite prospects. Again, I will be saving, if you call in and say, I like this prospect, I'm going to save that audio and put it in their profile on my big board. So I'll be able to, if we draft somebody, I'll just go look at the notes and see what I put in there and be like, oh, look, there's a couple calls and I can refer back to them and it'll be saved for all time. Don't go spamming me just for that, though. I mean, if you actually genuinely love someone, go ahead and call it in. If you got a mock draft, whatever it is, I don't care. Just let's get it in. Movies, we are in the offseason. I will say this. And by the way, it's about to heat up. I just got an order for some meat. I got chicken thighs, which we're doing tomorrow because it's going to be like 50-something degrees. The next couple days, I think Monday, it's almost going to be 60. So I bought some charcoal. I bought some pellets. We got, me and my son are getting fired up because we haven't really been grilling very much. I've been lazy. I don't want to go outside. It's cold. I don't want to deal with that. It's dark and it's cold outside. I'm not doing it. I'm just not. I'm sorry. I've done it. It's fine, but I'm not doing it. But now that it's getting warm, we're doing chicken thighs. I'm so excited. I love chicken thighs. They're the best thing in the world. I think maybe in the Substack I'll do like a little cookbook or something. I'll put out my recipes with pictures and everything else. I don't know, but we got pork belly. You can do pork belly burnt ends. Just the best thing in the world. I mix everything with rice, by the way. It's going to be chicken thighs and rice, pork belly and rice. It's just how I roll. What else did I get? Oh, I got a pork loin, just for the sake of being responsible, and it's delicious. I got some fish because the girls love fish, some tilapia, and then I got a pork butt because pork butts are great. They taste good. It's a great feeling of accomplishment when you do one, and then it's also a lot of food for a long time, so it sets you up for a while, which is great. So, anywho, the point is, it's off season, and off season a lot of times can be a little off topic. You know, movie reviews, TV shows, food, recipes, all that stuff. Get it in. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Yo, it's Packernet after dark. Ho. Light it up. Hey. Green Bay Packers fan, where you at? What's up? Hey. Grab that phone, dial in. Ho. Don't be shy. Hey. Talk a cheese head talk. Let your voice fly. Get your calls in, ho. Yeah. Get your calls in, ho. What? Packer Nation, let's go. Okay. Go on it now. Still the show. Yeah. Get your calls in, ho. What? Get your calls in, ho. Yeah. After dark, we on fire. Okay. Take it higher. What? Lambo leaps, touchdown, we break it down. Rocket love or the D, who wear the crown? Hot takes, debates, we keep it real. Call in quick, tell us how you feel. Get your calls in, ho. Yeah. Get your calls in, ho. What? Packer Nation, let's go. Okay. Coke lit now, still to the show. Yeah. Get your calls in, hope. What? Get your calls in, hope. Yeah. After dark, we on fire. Hey. Oh, Packernet, what? Take it higher. What? Crank it up, Packers fam, don't hold back. From Wisconsin to the world, we on the attack. Your opinions matter, bring that heat. Packernet after dark can't be beat. Get your calls in.